Guess I won't be needing any of these anymore. Thanks.
What should I do with these?
You can keep it.
Wow, thanks.
Oh shit. I forgot to post my irrelevant breakfast bowl this morning on my story. Hey, actually about that, I was thinking that we could maybe... I need to post my breakfast. So about 6 months ago, I went down this slippery but beautiful road of limiting my screen time as much as possible. You know, my life a year ago looked completely different to now. I was averaging a daily screen time of 8 hours, nearly 9 hours. Don't ask how that is possible. Honestly, I could have been classed as a cyborg. It's safe to say that I've had an addiction to the world of AI. You know, mindless social media scrolling, YouTube binge watching, video game grinding, and, you know, all of this turning me away from the real world and from myself. Over the past couple of years, I've been dabbling more and more with this idea of digital minimalism and, you know, becoming more mindful of my digital usage and deleting social media and stepping back from all technology several times, and it has shown me so much more to life than I could imagine. You know, I'm immensely grateful for what the internet has offered me in my life, but I think, you know, just how we care for our physical spaces, I'm just finding how important it is to, you know, care for our digital space as well, and using these technologies in a way that best serves us and our values. And I've felt gradually over time that I've been losing my personal power to these algorithms, and alongside many others who feel similarly, really just wanted to, you know, regain my power and take my power back. You know, my value as a human extends way beyond that of these technologies, of the digital space, of the likes and the followers and the dopamine hit of TV and porn, and, you know, who is at the most exuberant party. And I'm finding that, you know, the more that I connect with myself and tap into my true self, the less power that, you know, social media has over me. So I just wanted to share some things that have helped me on this journey of digital minimalism and of reconnecting back to myself. I started by asking myself, what are my true values? So aligning with my core values and really asking myself what I value and who I value, so I can center my use of technology around these principles. So for me, using social media means more than just providing a short-term hit of dopamine. So for instance, we might decide that, you know, watching all the sports highlights from the weekend is more of a distraction, while connecting with your friends from your photography course aligns more with your values of, you know, connection and creativity and friendship. I'm just throwing random values out there, but that's just an example. And then, you know, creating a ritual out of that. So for me, I just will, you know, set the intention that I'm not going to check social media until 6 p.m. and then only use social media for 20 minutes, which isn't always the case, but I set that as my intention. This has allowed me to, you know, just become more mindful. And I feel when I'm more mindful, I feel more of my true essence. And this for me is a value, you know, authenticity. Because when we can shine the light of our true self, I believe the world is a better place, because, you know, people can experience us in our true form. And most importantly, I found that a big part of happiness and being at peace with ourselves means being tapped into our most authentic energy, being unapologetically ourselves. And in my view, you know, the AI world has brought me further away from my true self, But at the same time, it's also brought me closer to myself when I am mindful and consuming technology in the right way. Decluttering. So I found just genuinely creating a better experience on social media to be really, really vital. I've been decluttering a lot of accounts that I follow. Sometimes you just gotta be ruthless. So yeah, doing a cleanse, every month or so, and unfollowing accounts that, don't serve me, and just following friends and accounts which do serve me and which make me feel good and which I can learn things from and which most importantly, align with my values. And so I know that the content that I'm absorbing isn't cluttering my mind and putting me into a headspace that I just don't need to be in. Save mental energy by blocking and deleting things. Now, the pull of social media, as we know, can be absolutely relentless. It is a beast of a thing. I think some days, maybe we have enough willpower to overcome these temptations and pulling of checking social media and not playing one last game of Call of Duty. But in most cases, we don't have that willpower. So I will simply just use a website blocker. I use OneFocus on my Mac. I also just delete any apps that don't serve me on my phone until I need to use them. And this is pretty simple, but I find that the simple action of doing this, that temptation loses a lot of its charge, and sometimes I find that it just completely goes away. I also totally understand the FOMO, fear of missing out that can come with deleting social medias and not being up to date with the world's affairs and whatever you like staying up to date with. Having not watched the news for almost 2 years and deleted social media many times over the past 2 years, I totally get the feeling. But what I've come to realize is that, the universe will deliver the things that we need to know about through, family and friends, either way. But it also comes down to, really valuing our energy. And for me, I value my energy and my mind and what goes into it. And I think there's a process of just surrendering and accepting that we aren't going to know everything when we delete social media. And that is okay. Filling the void with things you love. Now, this is something that I speak of quite frequently on this channel, but I have found, for me, filling the space of social media checking with things that I enjoy doing that put me into an effortless and flowing state. And when I'm in this state, I don't really think about the digital world. Moving from digital to analog, cutting out digital activities that aren't super necessary for me has, added up as well. Journaling and keeping notes in a journal and a book of some sort rather than my phone. Or reading a hard copy book rather than a PDF version. Or, deciding to just not bring my headphones and listen to music on my walk, and substituting back in these analog activities. I find, the more time I spend doing analog activities and more time that I spend in the natural world, the better I feel. But again, that's just me personally. And there is no right or wrong way to live out our lives. I'm just finding when I spend more time in nature and connecting with myself and away from the digital technology and using it in a way that best serves me, the more connected I am to myself. And so far I can sit here saying, genuinely that I have seen drastic increases in how I feel in a day-to-day basis and my confidence and just how I view the world. And it's definitely opened me up to seeing more and more in each moment I live. I hope by sharing my journey with you, it can serve you in some way. Either way, thank you so much for watching this video. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.